Greetings and salutations, and we're back with some more Switch Sports, Nintendo Switch Sports. Gonna do some more bowling. It went over pretty big last time, and I enjoyed it, so why not, right? And 100% dinner potato, because that's exactly what we basically feel like today. We don't feel like a lunch potato; we feel like a dinner potato. That's neat. Nothing there I really want. Nothing there either. That's kind of a cool volleyball. Let's see what we can do. Now, last time I almost lost a rank, and so I gotta watch out and make sure I don't do that again. Now, I don't like the special lanes where you have to curve a thing around, because there are some that I could just never manage to do. But we'll see. I know that in the standard lanes, if you don't get a strike in the first 3 frames, you're pretty much done. Once you get up to A rank and whatnot, because once you get up to the A rank and everything, it's when you get a lot of harsh competition. And so, yeah. But it's so much fun. This reminds me so much of Wii Sports Resort, which was a blast. And I miss playing Wii Sports Resort. And I'm glad they brought a Switch Sports out, and I'm glad it has bowling. Wished it kind of had 100 pin bowling, but online bowling just as good. Give him a devious banana peel. Alright. We know that it's already special lanes. You can tell from the distance shot. So I already know it's going to be a mild disaster. The last thing I need is for it to be a vicious disaster. Oh. Well, what do you know? It's going to be exactly what I thought it was going to be. I'm going to wait for it to come back around and do that. Oof. That's a terrible split. Not enough curve. Yep. That was awful. I mean, of course I split it. Why wouldn't I? It's been a week since I played it. Give or take. But see, I'm recording this the same exact day that I'm recording the other ones, right? Because there's one that's already up, and there's one that's coming up tomorrow. And then this one's going up the day after. And then there's another one that's recorded already waiting for a Saturday. But on Friday, I believe it's Friday, the 28th, I'm going to be playing Monster Hunter Wilds. So, be prepared for some Monster Hunter Wilds content. I don't know how long the videos are going to be, because I don't know how heavy I want to get into it. If it runs an hour long, that's a cool ball, I like that. If it runs an hour long, I'll see what I can do. But if, if it's just, if I could do, 2 30, 40-minute videos, I don't want to do too many of them. I might record a couple, and then just hold off on the second for a much later date, and then bring that one out, because I don't want to flood the channel with the same thing. That's why I continuously always make different content. I got the Diablo 2 one, I got the Pal World, I got the Call of Duty, but I got 3 versions of the Call of Duty one, which is But Will It Snipe, But Will It Sway, and But Will It Recoil. I have Terraria. I need to do the Nuzlocke again on Pokemon. I have Hearthstone on there. Like, I do a lot of content. I do. It's just kind of variety. Ugh. Let's see if we can pick that up. Almost. Yeah. You need to hit a little bit further to the left. I would have kicked over and got it. Pretty safe to say that we're making it to round 2, but really have to pick up my game. No, I have Pokemon competitive battling on there. I have the Nuzlocke, which I failed at twice, almost 3 times. I have like 2 or 3 other things, or that I can't think of right now. Hearthstone, Arclight Rumble, or Warcraft Rumble. It used to be called Arclight Rumble. And something else I had on the channel. I have 1 video of Terraria. As much as I love that game, it doesn't go over well, right? Because people want to see challenging things, and I get that. You get into modern society. It used to be back in the day, you'd watch something for just the entertainment value, maybe what the person's talking about, and how they're conversing with the viewer. Nowadays, it's not about that. Nowadays, you have to be either like screaming into the microphone, constantly rambling about something, or doing a challenge that's above and beyond. Kind of like the Hardcore 1 Talent Challenge. So it's like, I try to fill a niche, right? And people, not saying that I'm trying to fill specifically the niche, but all my content is unedited. I never edit. Not a single thing. There are some things that are short, like the RGL. I don't know how to upload shorts. That just shows how new I am at YouTube. How far does an RGL 80 shoot? Was actually an excerpt from when I streamed, and that was awful. Picked up the spare. Still awful though. And a little bit of pistol sniping, which was also supposed to be a short. Both came for excerpts from when I used to stream. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to upload them as a little tiny clip. So I clipped them out of my stream and uploaded them because I was intending to make them into shorts, but alas, it did not. They didn't make them shorts, they made them terrible. Made them like extremely short videos, which made no sense to me. That's fine though. I prefer making unedited content. Is what it does is it gives the rawest form of the content. So like, if somebody takes a look at the content and they realize, oh well, this guy doesn't edit, it means he's not making himself look the best, right? It's very organic. Because then it's like, oh well, he's not trying to paint himself in the most positive light. Instead, he's trying to just be. And that's a conversation I had with one of my friends. He does TikToks and he also does YouTube. I told him, I said, because he'd gotten to his 1 million subscribers, not subscribers, but followers, whatever, on TikTok. And he was asking me, he's like, well, I don't have a goal. He's like, my goal was to hit 1 million. And I was like, okay, you hit your goal. And he says, well, yeah. He's like, but now what do I do? I said, create for the sake of creating. And in that creating for the sake of creating, you will find joy. Oh. Nope, that was terrible. The absolute worst. The 7 Tenet. But I told him, I said, just create for the joy of creating. Create for the sake of creating. Because when you do, you'll feel content in everything you make. And he was kind of a little bit puzzled by that. I said, look at me. I said, I just started out on YouTube, and I said, but everything I do is unedited. Now, I have no goal in mind. It's not like I have this lofty expectation. I'm just doing things for the sake of doing things. And he's like, okay, I kind of get it. I said, it's kind of like the Joker from The Dark Knight. You know? He's sitting there, he's like, I'm like a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I got it. I just do things. And that's exactly how I am. I just do things. If they're entertaining, they're entertaining. If not, well, I do something else. But it's always something I enjoy, and it's always something I'm going to do anyway. There are times that I sit there and I think to myself, oh, what new content can I put out? That's what inspired me to play bowling again. I hadn't done it in ages, and I thought, you know what? We're just going to go back to playing bowling. Haven't played it in a while. You know, get the rust off the joints. That kind of thing. Have a grand old time. Of course, I don't want to make reactionary content. That's done to death. So it's like, It is what it is, I guess. Unless they can get a 130, I'm in safe. But I'm not gonna be winning the game, that's for sure. Third place wouldn't be bad. I don't think anybody can catch me right now. I don't think Penelope can either. I mean, she just picked up the spare. Oh! I'm safely in third place. I'm puzzled because, like, I've split so many frames. I think that's what needs to happen. You know, because you know how they're talking about, like, the second Gamergate? How the first one kind of was pushing, like, gaming in a different direction, and they were trying to tick boxes politically or socially, and they weren't trying to just make a great game and just let the game's work speak for itself. And so it brought about the first Gamergate, right? And everybody was kind of like riding the fence on the first Gamergate. I didn't pay much attention, but I noticed that, like, game quality kind of went downhill, for lack of a better term. And then what happens now in the second Gamergate that they're talking about now, people are like, oh, well, what about this, and this? And it's like, look, I don't care. I want people to make games that are fun. Because that's what they're meant to be. It's a fourth frame exploit. I just want people to make games that are fun, you know? Like, thoroughly enjoyable. No agenda push. No political statement. No form of social experiment statement. None of that. Make a game. Make it good. And people will people will come to it. Right? That's the way it used to be. Look at Warcraft Orcs and Humans. Look at Warcraft 2. Look at Diablo. Look at Diablo 2. Look at the first Path of Exile. Look at the first StarCraft. I know a lot of them are Blizzard products. But look at Castlevania. All of the Castlevanias. Look at the first Devil May Cry. Look at a lot of the Final Fantasy games. All the way up to like 6 or 7. And it's like, these are all lauded as amazing games. And why is that? Because they didn't do anything. They just made the game to make the game. Look at Pokemon, for example. Up until the latest one where everybody started entertaining mediocrity. And I know, people said, well, wait a minute, don't you play Scarlet and Violet? Yes. Yes, I do. And I'm not going to defend 100% of what they've done. They made some mistakes. And they need to be called out where they made their mistakes. I'll be the first to say that. However, I can't fault them for the performance loss. They had a very ambitious idea, they had a very lofty goal, and they said, you know what? We can do it. And they met hardware limitations. But take a look at what you got. You had 100 people who had been basically instructed in such a way, guided in such a way, to making only one type of game, which was a very linear adventure game where you collect monsters. There was no open world to it. There was, you have a set path you take. When set path is done, game done. Right? They broke that mold and they said, well, we're going to make an open world. Ambitious. They've never done it before. You can't use Legends Arceus, because that's not open world. It has a set area, and it has set scripts. It is not open world. You have to go back to town, and when you go back to town, it has a loading screen, which is why it looks better than Scarlet and Violet. See? So now, that's not open world. They tried to do something overly ambitious, and they didn't have the crew to pull it off. I commend them for the ambition, but they should have put some more time into it. They should have said, you know what, we're going to sleep on it a year. We'll bring out something that will appease the masses that like Pokemon. We'll give them something. Really? That's trash. Nope. Threw it too soon. Garbage. But no, they push out this, what is effectively a digital turd, and you can see the parts they got right. Okay? You can see the fact that they got the battle system right, because it works. And it's what they know. And the battle animations, while clunky at times, still are there. And the doubles stuff works, and the whole terrestrialization, you know, move, counter move, they put thought and strategy behind it. So they thought about it. But meanwhile, what am I doing? There we go. Jeez. Put a lot of thought behind it. They put a lot of strategy behind it. So the battle system maintained the same. And it was one of the best generational gimmicks, as I call it. Because you had, like, Mega Evolutions, which was number 1. Then Terrestrialization is number 2 in the generational gimmicks. Followed by... That's pretty much it, because the rest of them are just kind of garbage. The Z moves were kind of... and the rest were just kind of... They weren't good at all. I mean, Dynamax, you could see where it just went off the rails. That was awful. Really? I ain't making it. As soon as I'm out. Anyhow, you could see where it went off the rails with Dynamax, because everything snowballed too fast. First person that Dynamax is pretty much, oh, it snowballs from there, game over. Terrible gimmick. There was no real counterplay to it. Terrestrialization was originally thought to be going to be the same way, but then it's like, wait a minute, you can counterplay. So they get a +1 in that category for thinking of a great generational gimmick. Honestly. They get a -1 in the category for it running like manure. That's hardware limitations. I get that. They get a -1 in the category for it not looking as good as it could have. So, that's -2. But you can't really fault them heavily on it, because again, it's ambitious. It'd be like if you took the developers of Call of Duty and said, okay, what we want you to do is we want you to make a turn-based shooter. Hey, cool, I got the ball. Disco volleyball. But seriously, it'd be like saying, hey, we want you to make a turn-based shooter. And then go one step further and say to Call of Duty, not only do we want you to make it a turn-based shooter, we want you to make it a turn-based isometric shooter. Take them completely out of their comfort zone. It'd be an enormous flop. Right? Everybody knows it would. But it's no different. Because you're asking a company to go way outside of their comfort zone, something they've never developed before, something they've never done before, and you're asking them, do it. Oh, and then make it on, let's see, an isometric, turn-based Call of Duty shooter make it run on a potato, right? So give it hardware limitations, make it way outside of their comfort zone, and then say, oh, you only have 100 people to work on it. And you have to work on the entire project. Oh, and you have to get it done in a calendar year. Put all those restrictions on somebody. Like, not even just a calendar year. It's like calendar year from announcement. You can work on it prior to, but you have one calendar year for when it's announced. I'll tell you right now, that'd be the biggest turd ever laid. And that's the problem. People get tired of this whole, we have a perennial, you have to have a perennial shooter. You have to have a perennial sports game. You have to have a perennial Pokemon game. No, you don't. No, you don't. These perennial games and the idea that you need a game every year to continue the series, that idea needs to be put to bed. And old Yellard, take it up behind the woodshed, put that idea down. It's rabid. It's no good. And get rid of it. Right? Now, on top of that, you have the other mentality, just as dangerous, which is the microtransaction mentality, which is, we won't charge him for the game. We might charge him a monthly fee, but then we'll tuck everything away that's interesting behind microtransactions, making them not earnable in the game at all, unless they use their credit card. I mean, sure, it generates a lot of profit, but it drives people away from the product. Okay? So how do you do this? How do you fix that problem? Simple. There's a game that exists out there. It's been around since World of Warcraft started. It's that old. It's been around since RuneScape. It's been around since World of Warcraft. And it's a game that not many people know about. And it's called Dungeon Fighter Online. It is an MMO. It is an MMO side-scrolling 2D fighter. Now, here's the interesting part about Dungeon Fighter. No. Threw too early. Interesting part about Dungeon Fighter. Everything you see that is a cosmetic item can be bought in the auction house for in-game currency if you earn it. Every vanity item does not give game-breaking attributes at all. Seriously. You could wear the entire set, what are called avatar sets. You could wear the entire avatar set on your Berserker, right? And it gives him a little extra HP regen, a little extra armor, nothing game-breaking. The game boils down to skill. Oh, and before you say, wait, those will carry over to PvP. Aha! They don't. All the avatar sets are disabled in PvP. You still look the part, but all of the bonuses are disabled. So there's no real pay to win. It's pay to look cool. The game is still active. It still earns a lot of money, too. Man, I am just chunking it. First game started out strong, and now look at me. Maybe it's because I'm not concentrating enough. Maybe I'm not concentrating hard enough. That I don't want the latter half of this video to just be silence. Me just going. I'm concentrating. Nobody wants that. They want to be entertained. I can't say I blame them. What do you think about it, right? Oh, now it comes back. Ah, okay. Alright. Very last frame. Could have used you 2 frames ago, but no, I guess you were on a sabbatical, huh? That's what happens. People would say, well, why don't you play a rage game? Or, Like, nobody's asked me that yet on the channel. But I've had people ask me before. Do you get angry at games? It's like, not anymore. I used to. Back when I was like 12. 10. Not anymore. No point. I mean, the game's basically hard-coded to try to beat you at every turn, right? Knowing that, you know the game's going to do everything it can to win. It's programmed that way. It's programmed to win. So, I no longer get angry at the game. Most I do is I sit there and I say what I would call semi-entertaining things, like asking my strike why it went on a sabbatical. This is going to be my last attempt. Let's see if I can get to the finals again. This is the reverse of what I did before. Reverse, it was me struggling till the very last one, and then it was just, hey, I made it to the finals. I think I took second in that game. Not sure. Okay, this is going to be the last game. Apparently, it didn't want me to play that game. But no, I don't get angry at games anymore. I don't see a point, you know? And you have those people out there that I've had people in person ask me, you know, if I would ever consider playing a rage game, like getting over it with Bennett Foddy. Honestly, I could. I don't think I would get angry with it. Then I would understand that the difficulty would be greatly increased because I'd be sitting here playing with a trackball. So imagine getting over it with Bennett Foddy with a trackball. Yeah, that's over an hour's worth of pain, or like only up or something like that. Nevertheless, it's one of those games that's developed in such a way that it wants you to get angry. But why? Right? Doesn't really make sense. Right? So you have a game that wants you to get angry. For what purpose? Just to prove a point? That doesn't make any sense. So I don't get angry at it. In fact, I said that getting over it with Bennett Foddy was the perfect game. Of course, people look at me and they're like, what are you talking about, perfect game? I said, think about it. Guy sets out to make a game. Develops the game, produces it, launches it, tells everybody it's a rage game. It requires skill. Proceeds to find that there's not really any bugs in it whatsoever. This game then goes on sale. People play it. It gains popularity. Everybody has to take a bite of the turd sandwich. Much like Dark Souls. Or any other game. Only up. Getting over Bennett Foddy is the same way. All the while trying to get you to get over it. Not physically, but mentally. Get over the rage. Get over the anger. There's no reason for it. Life is going to be an inevitable set of setbacks, and it's not how far you get set back, it's what you do after it that matters most. It is literally a philosophical game. And it does exactly as it's designed to do. When it does exactly as it's designed to do, it is the perfect game. Because if you think about it, if it didn't do what it was designed to do, well then it's not the perfect game. It's got a lot of flaws. This game succeeds at what it set out to do. All the while having a subtle nuance of trying to get people to understand the psychological factor in it all. I was able to see it, take a step back from it, take a look and say, that's what he was looking for. He's looking for exactly that. This is why he puts in quotes and other things to try to calm the nerves. Because he wants people to get over it. It's only a game. It is the perfect game. And I will maintain that. That is a terrible split. Now, if he could pick that up, that'd be awesome. How'd this guy split? Field goal. Good. Is he gonna pick it up? Almost. Almost. I mean, honestly, solid attempt from him. Urkatron. Hit him with the old question mark, you know. Where is everybody? Where'd everybody go? Why can't I get lanes like this when I'm playing poorly? You know, where if I mess up, I actually survive to round 2. I was just gonna say almost like Trini there, but then Trini was like, give him the devious banana.
Round 2.
I'm looking forward to the new Hearthstone expansion coming out. Truthfully. And people are like, well, why is that? Well, to be honest, there's some really interesting cards. I knew I wasn't going to bowl a perfect game. No way I've ever done that. There's some really interesting cards. I haven't had a chance to look through all of them, but it stands to slow the game down substantially. Which is going to be cool, because now you're going to see a whole bunch of people running Kill Jaden. I've got a couple of homebrew decks working up here that are really a good idea, but I need the one legendary. I'll have to salvage all my old legendaries, because I don't play Wild, so... By not playing Wild, it kind of ruins things. Are you serious? Gapped it again. There we go. No, I'm looking forward to it. Just like I looked forward to the mini set, and I wasn't disappointed. The StarCraft mini set was great. And it's the same cycle, right? They come out with a deck, or not a deck. They come out with an expansion. I get excited about it, and then kind of get disappointed later on because you can't beat the whales. Of course, anybody that whales out on that game is going to inevitably beat you. But, because I don't whale out, I play for free, right? I earn everything I can do. But here's the key. I save the gold, and I get to 2,000, or 2,500, depending on how high the mini set goes. And then you can buy the whole mini set with gold. This is the great equalizer. So whatever expansion they bring out an equalizing mini set, which levels the playing field, because there's very few cards from the previous expansion you don't have. Because you've played it all the time. But eventually, it does catch up. Like, I only recently got back into Hearthstone at quite possibly the worst time, which was Castle Nathria. I had to deal with objection. And it's like, you had 2 types of people that played objection. Mages that want to anger everybody, and degenerates. Those are the people who played objection. Yeah, Natasha's gonna pull ahead of me. That's a guarantee. Bullshit. He's bowled more strikes than me. I mean, I've managed to keep up, and that's kind of the key. I mean, it's not the key, but you want to be able to keep up with everybody. You get out to an early lead and then want to keep the pace. My sciatic nerve in my left hip is acting up too, so I'm about to take care of that after this game. I know that because I got numbness in my left foot. Only when standing on it. That's because of the sciatic nerve. Don't worry, I got a tactic to get rid of it. That was a disaster. That was even worse. That just cost me. I'm 5 pins behind. Made it to the finals. I don't think I'm going to take first, especially by the way I've been bowling at the last second. If I could have picked up that spare, that would have been great. If I bowl a turkey, I might be able to pull it back, but Natasha's been just absolutely destroying in the recent frames, so. At least third, at most first, if things go well. If things go poorly, then, yeah, things went poorly. It's at most second now. Yeah, it's second.
Spare.
Sure, why not? Is what it is. Probably took second. I don't know. Maybe, we'll see. We'll see how it went. Third.
Finish.
I tried. It was that one right there, with the 9th frame that did it. That's what separated it. Give me the bowling ball. Cool, I got robot suit. So now I can be Mecha Potato. It's like that new character from Gundam. But, pull my chair back in here and reset everything. Right. Whoa. Come on now, you unwieldy beast. There we go. So, that was essentially me bowling again. Couple things. First, I thoroughly enjoyed this. 100%. I'm going to close that, so that way I can connect these to the Switch, and I can pick up my other controller here, my Pro controller. That way I can do what I need to and turn it off that way. Anybody out there that watches anime, if you're out there, I watched Freerun. I pretty much binge watched Freerun recently. And I have to say, you're probably not going to like this. I give it a 3 out of 5. Music was kind of lackluster. The plotline was good, but it almost felt like it should have just been named like the Elven Memoirs, right? Because I was told by a whole bunch of people that watch this anime on Twitter, people I talked to in person, they're like, "Oh man, Freeren's great. You should see it. She slaughters demons. It's cool. It's magic." And I'm like, "All right, I give it a shot." I said, there better be a season 2, and that season 2 better be a lot better than season 1. Because season 1, 3 out of 5. It's lacking that panache. Like, it's got a great story, memorable characters, but yet it's just lacking something. Voice acting's good. There's enough comedy in it to keep you laughing. There's enough action in it to keep you interested. And there's enough cliffhangers in it to want you to come back and watch more. It's just not... There's just something not there, though. At any rate, I had a great time doing Switch Sports. I hope you did as well. Well, not doing Switch Sports, but watching it. I hope you had fun as well. I hope everybody has a fantastic evening, a wonderful tomorrow, and as always, have a good one. Stay tuned for Monster Hunter Wilds, though. It's coming.